Right now on Denver 7 News at 6, huge improvements in the Metro's housing market, lower prices and more choices.
Hanging up on robocalls, Colorado is going after the companies responsible.
I'm Denver 7's Christian Lopez. Coloradans get about 11 of them a day. What you can do to help end the annoying practice.
A blow for the Broncos a week into training camp. Receiver Tim Patrick is out for the season. How the team is rallying around him and regrouping.
And a military dad going above and beyond to celebrate his kids while he's deployed.
Happy birthday to you.
The big gesture to make up for some missed birthdays. And that's a music video you'll want to see here this morning.
Awesome.
Yes. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Nicole Brady.
And I'm Brian Sanders. Good morning to you. Starting the day with some pleasant temperatures, and it looks beautiful out there, but again, warming up pretty quickly, Katie.
It will, but it is a really gorgeous start to our Wednesday morning. A live look from Denver City Park as the sun comes up. A mix of sun and clouds with temperatures right now, very comfortable. We're in the mid to upper 60s, Centennial into downtown through Littleton, up through Firestone with 40s and 50s off to the west. Now our climate calendar for today, we're expecting highs not as hot, a little closer to our seasonal averages. Usually we start off in the low 60s, top out in the high 80s. 90 our expected high. The record is 100 set way back in 1878. Our forecasted highs for today will be in the high 80s over the metro area to low 90s up through Brighton into Congress Park. In the backyard today, expect partly cloudy skies by noon, dry conditions for the first half of this Wednesday, and then about a 40% possibility of an isolated storm. Risk of any severe weather across the state will stay low. But Jason, we could be seeing some pockets of light to moderate rainfall and very gusty winds with storms later on.
I saw one of those yesterday evening, a pocket of very strong with strong gusty winds and some heavy rain. Right now you can see across town anywhere you want to go. I-70, I-76, Denver Tech Center, C-470 at Santa Fe and Santa Fe. It all looks really good. You can see that on the overall map as well. I'm not seeing any significant big problems except for the slowing coming out of the airport along Pena Boulevard getting down to 56. So that's going to be a little bit slow for you as they're still doing their road work. They can work for the next hour or so, so could see those delays about the same amount of time you'd spend on Pena Boulevard as if you would jump off and use Tower Road. The rest of the drive looks okay. We still have that valve replacement project Denver Water right here at Oneida, so one lane open, one lane closed westbound, eastbound some turn restrictions, but you'll see some delays later on this morning right in that area.
And we do want to bring you some breaking news right now. Denver police are looking for a suspect and have put a shelter in place in order for this area on South Depew Street off of Hamden. So neighbors in that area should stay inside. Denver police have not told us who they're looking for or what that person did exactly, but this is right there on the edge of Lakewood against South Depew and Hamden.
Well, new this morning, there is a big change in Denver's housing market. A just released report finally has some better news if you're in the market for a new home.
Yeah. Here's the headline. Prices are going down.
Yeah.
Denver 7's Jessica Crawford has been going through the numbers. We never say that here anymore. Jessica, what are the big takeaways from this new report?
Yeah, definitely some good news for buyers. The Denver Metro Association of Realtors does say that this still is a seller's market, but that things are looking a lot more hopeful for buyers these days. Here's a look at the numbers. They show active listings are up 21% from a month ago with more than 5,600 active listings. Prices are still expensive, but they're down about 3% from last month. The average closing price is just over $781,000, and the close price to list price is just over 100%. So that means that some people are paying below the list price, and some sellers are even helping out buyers in the face of high interest rates.
Sellers are being creative on how to provide opportunities to buyers, and one of that is to buy down that interest rate for a potential buyer and therefore making their monthly payment less. And then it's a closing cost that the seller can take on and everyone can win.
And with this progress, there just aren't that many houses available. In fact, Denver has one of the lowest vacancy rates in the entire country. In Denver, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
Interesting. All right. Thank you, Jessica. Well, if you already live in Denver, you know this. If you've put in a bid on a home, you're facing tough competition from out-of-state home buyers. A study from Redfin found out-of-towners can spend nearly 12% more on a home purchase than locals. As we take a closer look at the numbers, the average maximum budget for locals is just under $880,000. Which is still a lot, but out-of-towners can spend over $100,000 more. Denver is a city with a wide range of housing prices, and the Denver Metro Association of Realtors breaks them down by zip code. So here you go. It shows 80209 with the highest median closing price at just over $1 million. That's the Washington Park, Belcaro area. The most affordable was 80247, which is Windsor and the Dayton Triangle neighborhoods. In Southeast Denver, the median closing price there was $306,000. Experts point out 90% of the closings in that zip code, though, were condos or townhomes.
Breaking right now, President Biden will sign another executive order today to protect abortion rights. He's expected to do that at the inaugural meeting of the Task Force on Reproductive Health Care Access. The order directs the Health and Human Services Secretary to make sure health care providers comply with federal non-discrimination laws so women can get necessary medical care. It also directs HHS to consider actions guaranteeing women who travel across state lines to get an abortion have access to health care services that could be paid for through Medicaid. An effort to restrict abortion in Kansas was soundly defeated by voters last night. Kansas was the first state in the nation to put abortion rights on a ballot after the Supreme Court voted to overturn Roe v. Wade.
There were some primaries in 5 states last night, with the results setting up some of the biggest battleground contests we might see come November. Carrie Lake, an election denier backed by former President Trump, won Arizona's GOP primary for governor. The race turned into a proxy war of sorts between Trump and Mike Pence. The former vice president had backed a different candidate in that race. Meanwhile, in Michigan, Representative Peter Meyer became the second of 10 Republicans who voted to impeach Trump to be ousted in a primary. Trump endorsed John Gibbs, who also backed the former president's lies about widespread election fraud. And Republicans in Missouri are breathing a sigh of relief after State Attorney General Eric Schmitt won the wide open Senate primary there, facing another Eric, former Governor Eric Greitens, who was attempting a political comeback after a sex scandal and accusations of campaign misconduct. So Monday marks 3 months until November's Election Day. Colorado's Senate race will get plenty of national attention, with Democratic incumbent Michael Bennet up against Republican challenger Joe O'Dea. And national Republican campaign dollars are starting to flow into our state in hopes of ousting Bennet. Colorado Public Radio reports the GOP is spending $250,000 on a statewide 1-week ad buy centered around Bennett's support of President Biden's agenda. In recent polls, a majority of Americans and Coloradans have an unfavorable view of the president's job performance. Right now, Bennet, though, is favored to keep his seat.
Well, has it gotten to the point where you don't even answer the phone anymore? This maybe is something you'll like. Our Attorney General is forming a group to go after the companies behind all those robocalls. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us now. And Christian, I think we all could agree we never have to hear about our car's warranty ever again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I pulled the numbers. Coloradans got around 65 million robocalls in June alone. That is more than 90,000 an hour. And what really hits home is that individually we each get about 11 robocalls a day. Attorney General Phil Weiser says that he is joining 50 other attorney generals. This is all a part of a nationwide effort to crack down on these robocalls. So they will be investigating and taking legal action against telecommunication companies that are responsible for these calls, and they're focusing on shutting down the providers that profit from these scams. And some tips to avoid these unwanted calls are to be aware of callers who specifically ask you to pay by gift cards, wire transfer, or cryptocurrency, and look out for pre-recorded calls from imposters who are posing as government agencies. And if you suspect any fraudulent activity, just hang up the phone and don't give them any more information. The Attorney General's office does have a website where you can report these fraudulent calls, and we will link that to thedenverchannel.com. Live this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. Well, we know football is back, but 1 week now into Broncos training camp, and the team has suffered a crucial loss for the season. This one hurts. Beloved receiver Tim Patrick tore his ACL during team drills yesterday. He was catching a pass from Russell Wilson at the time, so a huge blow to the offense. He has more than 700 yards receiving and at least 5 touchdowns in each of the last 2 seasons. It was great to see the team gather around him as he was carted off the field, but they are clearly devastated.
Like Tim, who's such an amazing leader, that has done everything we've asked. I mean, it breaks your heart.
It's sad, man, because, I kind of watched the work that he put in this offseason. Just like me, he told me, hey, man, I was working out 3 times a day. You guys don't see how much work you put in the offseason. That's why you see guys herded around and over there. It's because, we see the work that's been put in. For that to be taken away, it could just happen to anybody, man. It's just sad.
Yeah, the offense will try to get some traction here. It is the 3rd straight year the Broncos have lost a receiver to a knee injury. KJ Hamler last year, Cortland Sutton the year before. So hopefully with it happening so early in training camp, the team can regroup and figure out how to fill that void of Tim Patrick. Meanwhile, a big loss in the sports world. The voice of the Dodgers for decades, Vin Scully, has died.
When the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball. So this is Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon wherever you may be.
Yeah, such a recognizable fixture in baseball. He was the Dodgers broadcaster for 67 years. It's the longest tenure of any broadcaster with any team ever. He was 94 years old. The Rockies, meanwhile, sharing this tweet calling Scully a legend behind the mic, a gentleman to all who knew him, and a baseball storyteller unlike any other.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has left Taiwan this morning after promising to show support for the island, and they could get that today with action expected here in the U.S. Senate. Plus, many of us rely on Amazon to get things to our door fast, but now its labor practices are under investigation. Why officials were at one location here in the metro this week.
Also, how about getting paid to vacation in a place like this? Are you kidding me? We'll show you the listing for a dream job to let you work at beaches across the country.